Podcast up and going now. Just want to let you know we're live.
I apologize for the of course delay that was on my end.
No problem.
Now that's all taken care of.
No biggie. I was just playing a couple songs to get the people in the right mood set. You know, gotta play some of that songs. I was about to start playing Freebird, waiting for you, but we got like a minute in.
Good, very, very good. We need good old classic solid gold oldies to keep these people entertained, because that's what they deserve and that's what they need. We're the people Gotham deserve.
Yes. So I just want to wish everyone a wonderful Sunday. Hope you guys are doing well, and thank you for tuning in as always for these wonderful streams we got going on. Whenever we get to the chance to do it, we will do it live.
Screw it, we'll do it live.
It's this is a 165 episode of Bloody Thumbs podcast. As you know,
what?
This is CH Gorak here on the line with me.
You have got to be kidding me. It seems just like yesterday. I awkwardly called up to your other podcast and tried to talk about zombies or something. I don't remember. But anyway, this is good because it's just been such a long time, and I've been blessed to be a part of this podcast.
Well, thank you. I'm blessed to have you. Blessed to have you. And I myself and Splinter 47, your gracious co-host here.
What the gals?
Got to be back there. I mean, it's been a couple of weeks since the last one, and I've had my international travels in between this, so it's definitely good to be back in the US of A.
So indulge... Ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who do not know, Splinter here went off to the land of the rising sun, Japan, and I've liked and reposted some of your photos, but I'd like to give me the skinny about the 411, if you will, of Japan. And where'd you go?
I went to the city of Osaka, Japan, just a little bit far off from Tokyo. Did a couple of mini sightseeing, and also took many trains to get to other places around Japan. Kyoto, Kobe beef. If you never had Kobe beef, that's a delicacy in and of itself. It's said to be the best beef in the world, and definitely lived up to expectations. Like texture, it's like soft, the softest meat you'll ever eat. It just melts in your mouth. That's how good it was.
Sounds delicious and sexual. Please continue.
It made me almost cry after I took a bite of it. It was so good.
We have Kobe at our office at our office little restaurant, but it's like nothing really something to write home about. It looks like that was the masters forging the great iron steel swords like that. That's where you need to go for the right Kobe.
Yeah, it's the authentic Kobe, because you can only really get it there. Any other place that says that's it is probably an imitation of what I had in Japan. It was quite the journey. CH. I did a lot of walking. Even on the first day there, I did a lot of walking. It was so crazy. I had blisters on my feet. I never thought I would have on my feet. It was a wonderful time. Regardless of that, I actually got new shoes for that very special occasion, and it definitely helped out a lot. I just left my old shoes in Japan. Whoever has it is probably wearing it right now. They have the official Splinter merchandise somewhere in Japan. They were my very old shoes. I've had those shoes for like a long ass time. I was in desperate need for new shoes, and then once I put them on, I just realized a whole world changed. As and I gotta
slip them on, just a whole new world.
That's what I felt, man. It was that time. I spent too long suffering, putting myself to A couple pains with just worn out shoes, man. You can't really. It's not good for you to have those shoes for so long. I've had them for like over 2 years. I think you have to get new shoes every 2 years.
You got to change them out.
Yeah, it was long overdue.
Hello.
I needed to get those out of there.
SP.
Hello. Uh-oh.
Hello.
Having technical issues with lost CH. Let's give him a call back. Hello.
Well, hello again.
I don't know what happened. We got disconnected there. I saw the Skype little bandwidth indicator going to red, and it just quickly just cut the chat off. But
Belkin.
Not Belkin. No, Belkin
is our Newman.
Belkin is my Newman. I was about to say that. You read my mind. I've been watching a lot of Seinfeld with the girlfriend. It's just summed up a greater appreciation for Seinfeld.
You're a sellout, man. Sharing your heart with somebody, opening up to people, not playing video games as much because you talk to other people. You ought to be ashamed.
I know, I'm ashamed. I'm getting out.
You getting out of the game?
Getting out of the gaming game?
No, I'm getting out of the game.
It was social interaction, as Tag says. Yeah, I make you sick, Tag. I know. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things to go over there. But I mean, if you have any questions about Japan in general, I could definitely answer it for you. I mean, anything you may be curious about.
Did you go to the Akibara or the essentially the electronic district, famous in Japan?
Akibara. There's so many places that are just I can't even pronounce, let alone remember if I went there. I'm looking it up now. I mean, I know I went to a couple of a lot of shopping districts. They're so expansive and just out there. I went to a bunch of them. I ended up getting. I actually went to, not the first thing I did, but it was definitely something I wanted to cross off the list because I went to a big gaming store inside this like 5-floor massive like mall. It's just floor by floor. There's so much of everything in every floor. Like the 5th floor is like electronics, and the 4th floor is clothes. 2nd floor is appliances. This is a huge mall, basically, and just had everything. So I went into one of the floors. I think it's the 2nd floor, and there's just pretty much all games, a gaming section, and just a bunch of stuff there. Games that are not even out here yet, like a Yoshi's Woolly World is there. I wanted to buy it, but I don't think I could play it on my Wii U. Probably region locked.
That's still one of the things that really bugs me. It's like region lock doesn't really have a place anymore. It's really only done to discourage international trading, and we need a little bit more international trading, especially with the fact that Australia, oh my gosh, they are just being abused and neglected to the point of where they have ratings for adult entertainment now for video games. But now they can't, even if it's like rated, I don't know what their adult is, but like even then they still have to censor it, and sometimes even then it's just like, we're not going to give you a game. It's like, then what was the point?
Yeah, it's a little iffy. I mean, honestly, if you have the cash to buy it, I mean, I think you should be able to play it in any system wherever you live. Honestly, I really wanted to play it because it was there. It was like there in front of me, and it doesn't even come out here in the States till October. I really want to play that. Yoshi's Woolly World. I mean, I really like what I've seen so far. I love the aesthetic, and it's just another Yoshi game.
It's too damn cute.
It's just so cute. It brings back a lot of memories of Yoshi's Island. This seems like a kind of a little spiritual successor to Yoshi's Island, which is something I always wanted. But I wanted to play the new Yoshi. It may have been Yoshi's Island 2 or something. It was some kind of reboot or something on the 3DS, but I heard mixed things on it, so I never ended up getting it. So it was there. Xenoblade Chronicles is there.
Oh, yeah, I've heard. I missed it on the Wii, and I was like, I was actually. It's funny because I was actually reading up on someone recommends Xenoblade. I'll see if it's at a cheap price. Amazon, $90 for a used copy. It's like I am not made of money. What the hell's going on?
It may have been Xenoblade Chronicles. It may be a newer Xenoblade. I don't remember the exact name of it. I have to look, but it was a newer. I think it was a newer Xenoblade game, slated for
Xenoblade Chronicles X or something.
Something. Yeah, it was there. It was a whole stand there. One of the things I was actually looking to partake in purchasing was amiibos. I got me some amiibos.
Very, very nice. They're nice collectibles. The only problem that apparently people have is like they're really well done, and you just like that's a really cool way to incorporate them into the gameplay. Just like that, they're always out of stock. Like Nintendo, come on, you guys should know better.
Yeah, from what I hear, they're really they really sell out quick here in the States, but they have a whole boatload of them here in Japan. I didn't get anything too exclusive that is not already out here. I mean, other than one thing, I don't think I have the pink Yoshi Wally World amiibo, which I don't think it's out here yet. But I just got that one because I like Yoshi. I didn't even take it out of the box. I'm just leaving it in the box for itself because I just don't want it to get dusty. Because wherever
I just want to admire it.
I do, because if I open it up and let it sit there where I normally put my stuff, whether it be just things that I normally would wear, like accessories, like a watch, all my other products and stuff I have here, it'll end up getting dusty over time, and I'm not very good at maintaining that. So I have like a couple of figurines here that are just all dusty as hell that I never really maintain. So I figured I'd leave it in the case itself, and it'll be better that way. That way I can just dust off the plastic. It looks very cute. I mean, this is what you expect especially from Yoshi's Wally World. From what I've seen, even the amiibo is cute. Just for any collectible, I don't think I'll be using it for anything gameplay related. It's just more collectible than anything else. Just crazy to see how much of those are out there. Amiibo inspired collectibles out there. They got the Disney Infinity, and then they got the whole Spyro thing going on.
Oh yeah, what that's the same thing.
Yeah,
Skylanders. That was the same thing that happened. It's funny, just like thinking of Skylanders and like Spyro used to be the big cheese, and now like the franchise just went completely into a different direction. That just reminds me of Rayman for a while, and then they had the Rabbids, and that became like the big selling point, just because of those screaming rabbits. Just be like every other time. It reminded me of Minions a lot, of the like, I don't know why these things are popular. I guess there's a good reason for it. I can't see it, but just not speaking of anything else, just of the Minion stuff. Just because
they're popular enough, but I don't think with the case of Minions, they really couldn't support their own movie. I'm sure it could be done, but from what I heard of the movie, it wasn't all that hotness without something to back it up.
Mm-hmm.
That's just me. I always prefer the Penguins of Madagascar for myself.
Yeah, because like those are people that you want. Those are like the characters that you want to actually know about, because they're they got the heist angle, they got the group dynamic, they're individuals. Like you can't really swap them out for other ones and not mess with the flow of the team. Whereas in Minions, like they're all the same.
Yeah, so
tag give me. At least the Penguins could speak proper English. Very, very true.
That's true.
And not broken Spanish or whatever the hell the Minions are doing.
Spanish and gibberish. But I had a wonderful time in Japan, CH. I mean, it was my first time really going out of the country like this. I was just on
very nice.
Like on a 10-hour flight from like LA to Tokyo, to Japan. It wasn't necessarily one of the most I was not, for me being kind of tall, I'm like 6'1", and it's not the most pleasant thing to have to sit for 10 hours on a plane with my long legs hitting the back of the metal part of the seat in front of me. It's not really the most.
I assume your legs were kind of sticking out of the side of the aircraft.
I felt like I was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I mean, I feel his pain.
I would have loved to have seen that if you took his Kareem's role in Airplane. Like these You see this? I bust my ass every single night to get up. I play video games every single night to get you people some good content.
It was, yeah. I went on Delta, which is pretty nice. I mean, even coming and going from Delta, there's like delays up the ante. I mean, I had to change a couple flights, and with me being very an organizational man, you know, my girlfriend will tell you, I'm very. I like to know. I like to know things before they happen. I like to be.
The precognition working.
I'm the way that works.
If you could, you take one of those people from Minority Report and just like stick them in your bedroom. Just be like, so will I do better with toast or eggs today? You know, you don't need to ask me about that every single morning. No, but I'm going to.
Oh hell yeah, that's how I am. I need to know every single little detail. Other than that, it's quite a wonderful experience. I can't really praise it enough. I was really kind of bummed to come back here. It felt kind of different coming back here. It really opens your eyes to the world. I mean, it's just I haven't even fully explored all of Japan, but it really does change you. It changed me as a person and how I see things and how I appreciate the littlest things here, and just how I noticed just how different everyone's attitude is, just coming from the airport from Japan to LAX, which is not really the greatest airports, but I gotta tell you, Japan's got the best airports, and even the airports have a lot of things for you to do. Even you can do shopping and you can go eating. It's just insane. Multiple floors, as I mentioned, even with like the previous parts that I went with shopping. There's just so much to do there, and the toilets are good. I'm gonna praise the bathrooms.
Like Homer Simpson.
The bathrooms are the greatest thing ever in Japan. Like they really go all out to making sure that you have enough space in there, you got enough leg room, and you got those nice heated toilet seats, and the ones that shoot water up your butt, that clean you. It's just fantastic.
Okay, they are spoiling you over there. All right, you need to come back to America, and you are. So that's a good start. And realize that a bathroom is a place for you to do your business and then get on with your day. If I went to a bathroom in Japan, I assume that would be just like actually a very, very nice small hotel room, just like of how good it is.
You wouldn't want to leave. I tell you that. You wouldn't want to leave.
And speaking of very interesting sights to see, Tag Gibby and I were thinking about what is the weirdest thing that you saw in Japan? From the land that brought us hentai and used panties in vending machines, what was the weirdest thing you saw?
Honestly, I can't really think of anything that really was weird to me that stood out. Maybe because of the area that I was in, maybe they really didn't have a lot of those kind of weird things going on. Probably if I went in Tokyo, I probably could tell you a good handful of things. I'm sure there's a lot. I was actually seeking out panty vending machines just to buy some for the store. I was actively seeking them out, and my girlfriend and I could not find any, so they're probably all in Tokyo right now.
It's like Japan is one of those fascinating countries, being like technologically very innovative, just like this interesting small continent island where it's like this hodgepodge of different beliefs and ideals of like a long-standing morality. And then on the flip side, their art is just like gonzo crazy. It's either respective quiet pieces or like teenage machine gun boob girl attacking Yakuza toughs. And then it's what was the shoot? Oh yeah, did you ask about if Bill Murray visited anyone while he was filming there?
Bill Murray. Well, I know.
You'll know Bill Murray.
I know. I was watching Lost in Translation not too long ago, and then it gave me the craving to go try the rotating sushi. So we did a couple of those. I think practically almost every sushi place you go probably will have rotating sushi. So you pretty much just grab anything off the rotating little table there, and then they just pretty much count the plates, and then they charge you according to how many plates you had. I don't know how their system goes, but I'll just kind of go with that. Their sushi was really good. It was pretty basic, like compared to what I've had here in America, normally they like to like drizzle or sprinkle as much things as you can on the sushi itself. Like eel sauce or things like that here in the States. Not so much in Japan. It's just basic seaweed wrap with the rice and then the fish on the seafood on top, and that's pretty much it. According whatever you want to kind of add to it, whether you want to put some the traditional soy sauce on the side and dip it in that or wasabi. But oh my god. I'm a wasabi.
You didn't have wasabi, did you?
No, I'm a wasabi connoisseur. This is known between me. I love wasabi. Like I could eat a whole giant spoonful of it and not really be phased. I love it. I love wasabi, but the wasabi in Japan is nothing compared to here. Like it's so strong because it's so fresh over there.
I assume there's like holes in people's tongues from where they tried to place the wasabi. I
love it.
You are a madman, and I appreciate you for that. But I can't handle. I'm very white, so I can't really handle any spiciness. Like a glass of water is probably my maximum amount of spiciness for the day. And just hearing that it's even more intense over in Japan. Ooh, I don't begrudge you. I'm not jealous of you eating that wasabi just because it's just like, wow, I'd probably just like burn off every single taste bud I'd have.
Oh yeah, to each his own. It's just a matter of how much you can handle. I just love it. Like I can never get enough. Even like here in the States with the wasabi they give you, it's just like it's like a penny size. Like this is not enough for me. I need a big, giant ice cream scoop full of wasabi on my plate, and I'll be happy. The thing is, but like, I don't know if I would consider it's a different kind of sensation you get with wasabi. I don't really consider it spicy, like enough to the point where you're like have to drink a lot of water. I don't really get that feeling. It's just that same sensation you get with like horseradish, which is like an insane, intense feeling like in your nose and upper eyes. Like it makes you like
and out of your ass a little bit later.
Out of my ass, not so
out of your ass a little bit later.
I took a big chunk full over there, and then it made me tear up. But I loved it. I loved the feeling. Like
as we established from your love of Dark Souls, you're a masochist. So you enjoy that kind of thing, and I'm happy for you, but just be careful.
Yeah, Dark Souls and Bloodborne. I love all that masochistic things.
If they open up a Dark Souls sushi restaurant, I assume you'll be co-owner.
Oh yeah, I'll be going for sure. I'll be investing stock in wasabi. That's what I'll be doing. Other than some foods, I can't really think of anything I saw that was weird. I mean, it's very. I guess because of the time of the season I went to it was that time for it. It was really humid. Like you step outside, you start sweating immediately. You don't even need lotion. You don't even need lotion to survive there. It's just it's kind of humid out there, and it just people who've lived there or been born there for a long time, they adapt to it. And I see them. There's no hint of sweat on them. It's just insane. They've adapted to that weather.
They've adapted.
One of the cool things they got there because because they really think a lot about the people there in Japan. They're really considerate about just all everyday daily lives, man. There's like vending machines scattered all over the place. It's just drinks upon drinks, any kind of drink you want to get, whether it be iced tea, green tea, coffee, soda, all that stuff, water. It's all kind of scattered about the city. Even places that we went that were kind of like almost felt like they were off the radar because they were in kind of tropical settings where we kind of took a look at these temples. One of the temples we went to was the Osaka Castle, and which was really huge. Mm-hmm. And then these golden temples, like even there, they were like vending machines all over the place. You could just buy some and then just drown yourself in water and start chugging because you can get really dehydrated there for the amount of sweat you're kind of emitting out there because it's so humid.
It sounds like they're very considerate people. Like any type of need that you have, it'll be catered to.
Yeah.
And for me, I know I would just take full advantage of that and be the belligerent jerk of an American that people expect us to be. Just be like, "You're welcome, Japanese people," like with an American flag tied over my neck. It's like, yes, don't worry, no thanks are necessary.
Well, there are more people that are more like out there when it comes to like, oh yeah, that person's a foreigner. Like they were way. You might as well just put the red, white, and blue flag on them. They were so out there more than we were. We were just kind of adapted to the culture for like the few amount of days we were there. I think we were there for about like 10 days. And yeah, people are very, very considerate. I mean, it's one of the safest countries there. I mean, I felt pretty safe there. Like I wasn't even afraid walking out in the middle of the night without getting mugged. It was pretty chill out there, man.
Wow,
it was really chill.
I can't certainly say that about some of the places here in America.
Yeah, it's just insane. Like I can't even imagine even wanting to go out and at 2 a.m. in the middle of the night out in the streets, and even here, I don't even want to do that. But there, it was just great. It just felt really free and liberating. It was just being out there. A couple of days it did rain. We had one of the things you'll notice there. There's a lot of umbrellas. You can pretty much buy an umbrella anywhere, whether it be like a shoe store or a grocery store. You can buy an umbrella. It's just one of those things that it's just there. Like you'll never run out of umbrellas, and people always steal umbrellas because they just they have a rack in every kind of store you go into, because sometimes it'll rain, so you can put your umbrellas there in a rack and then pick them up after you leave. Mm-hmm. needless to say, I stole someone's umbrella by accident, and
thief.
It's kind of this like ecosystem. It's like a circle of life. You always you take one person's umbrella and they take your umbrella. It's just kind of this endless cycle that it's always there. You're always going to find an umbrella somewhere. They're always scattered around somewhere. If you need one, you probably find somewhere walking the streets. And I mean, one of the things I noticed there, they do ride a lot of bicycles. That's one of the things too. They don't chain their bicycles out there. I could pretty much walk up there and take a bike, and probably no one would even notice.
Oh my gosh! Well, this sounds like my dream, since I have a hankering for stealing things.
Stealing bikes.
Stealing bikes. Japanese bikes. There's a huge black market for them.
This is why we can't have nice things.
No, it's not. But that's also why that I'm a very, very happy man, because people are way too trusting of me.
Bab, it was really, really great. People are. Even in the subways, people have a lot of etiquette. It's very quiet there. Everyone kind of keeps to themselves. Very, very considerate and very conservative group of people there. Not, you don't see very too much scantily clad dressed ladies there, and they're all pretty,
all right, I'm not going.
All pretty conservative.
Okay, well, they do have some pretty ladies there, so that's good. Scantily clad, though not in season, so that's a knock against you, Japan. I'm sorry, but
let's say let's give them a shot. Let's say they're not very scantily clad, but they are tasteful. I will say.
Okay.
You can get I think you can get enough of
classy
some eye
points.
candy for you, CH. They are classy. They're classy and just how the way they are, They don't.
And that's the way it is.
They leave it up to your imagination. Don't you want to imagine rather than just see?
Imagine there's no clothing. I wonder if you can. Although, I do want to know. Speaking of Japan and video games, are Western games very big there, or if not, was there anything that, or if Western games were big there, which ones?
I can't say for sure. Since I didn't really visit a lot of gaming stores, I did notice there's a lot of merchandise, for popular, animes and mangas out there. I saw a lot of One Piece stuff over there. The gaming stores I did go to, they were selling Arkham Knight there, I don't know how popular Arkham Knight is, but I was just it was interesting to see that they had kind of like a promotional poster. You know how the whole tagline is, be the Batman. So there was they had posters laid out there of this, pretty much a Japanese guy in the Batman suit, which is cool. It was cool to see.
Because apparently there's also like a TV spot of that as well, where he's just going around in like everyday society, like dressed up as Batman, and then I don't. No, I think it's all in Japanese without subtitles, but it's just very funny to see him running around trying to be awesome and Batman-like, and very, very funny.
Yeah, I mean, I just saw pretty much any other games you would see here. I mean, just other than just exception for the kind of the newer ones that are out there earlier than here. The examples of the Yoshi game and Xenoblade Chronicles, and it's more of a. It seems like it's more of a handheld kind of preference over there, because there's a lot of like a lot of DS, 3DS, devices I've seen on people more often than not. I don't know. Really,
mobile gaming has really taken off over there.
Yeah, the mobile gaming's really is out there. I mean, it's crazy because I didn't know how big Japan was for when it comes to like the iPhone market. I could tell you I could not find a single Samsung Galaxy case to buy there. It was all iPhone 6s, and they have their own kind of other phone over there in Japan. It's a flip phone, but it's like way more advanced than any flip phone I've seen. It's crazy. No love for the Samsung over there.
No, well, if there's no love for the Samsung over there, I can only imagine what the Microsoft smartphone is doing over there, especially since they can't even sell the Xbox Ones over there.
Yeah, I read that the PS4 also is not really doing well over in Japan either. It's not really selling a lot there. From what I saw an article. I didn't read the whole thing, but it was just one of the headlines I saw. I also don't see too much. I mean, this is just from my experience. Maybe I didn't really look further enough. Granted, I probably would have seen more of this in Tokyo. I really would have loved to have seen more Japanese games than I'm familiar with over there, to get some sweet merch like Bayonetta. I mean, I really would love to get some Bayonetta kind of merch over there, but it really didn't offer it there. I guess it's not really too popular there either. And Metal Gear Solid doesn't seem to be popular over there either.
Wait a minute, what?
From what I saw, it doesn't seem like it.
So so like maybe. One Piece and like those, and I assume Naruto and all those other animes. Like, is that their version of like Michael Bay Transformers here, where it's just like, oh come on, there's like really good stuff out there, but nobody's paying attention to it. Like with this stuff making money.
Well, that's just from what I've seen. I can't say exactly what the preference of entertainment is over there. I just seen so many kind of variety of things. It is kind of strange to see that that's not the case with kind of the popularity of games we kind of know here. I'm sure it seems to me, this is just me speculating, it seems more that I think Metal Gear Solid is more popular here than it is in Japan. I would say it's kind of taken off more here from what I've kind of my own pre assumptions here. I have no facts to back this up, but that's just from what I've seen.
Hey, we're Americans. We don't need facts.
Yeah, I think if I would have gone in Tokyo, maybe I would have seen more of that. That'll probably be another trip for the future. I like to go to Tokyo for sure. See what they got to offer there and what kind of things are over there.
Well, I gotta say that it's probably even the best-selling game over there still probably doesn't crack the top 10 of sales of video games over here in the United States.
Yeah, I want to do more research into what the kind of what the culture is in terms of gaming, whether it be more of the mobile market or maybe kind of see. I'm curious to see, even if there is the small, even if there is a certain amount of people that do game on console. I'm curious to see like what the kind of what kind of took off there, whether it be a Western game. I'm curious to know if a Western game took off in any way, shape, or form over there, and what kind of games that are centralized from that country that took off there. I'm curious. That's what I'm going to look into that furthermore to see.
Red Dead Redemption was one of them.
Oh yeah, Red Dead. I can see
Hello?
that. I could see that.
Don't you die on me, damn it!
Hello. Oh, I'm gonna lose CH again. Well, the American series has a lot of Western themes and story elements, so I guess that makes sense. That is true, Tag. I would assume that's probably the case. Let's see if we can get CH on. Let me look up popular games.
Yo.
Hello.
Hey, howdy. I that was odd. But anyway, just from the last thing I really read about video gaming in Japan and like the biggest Western game over there, it's strange because it's like Red Dead Redemption, which is like okay, that makes sense because it's like it's the mythologized action hero of another country. Like I don't know, it'd be like James Bond for people who are outside of England, or the Samurai for people outside of Japan, and then the other one's Gears of War, which is very, very interesting because like not a lot of people were interested in military shooters, but then Gears of War is like this third-person cover-based shooter, and it's got this just seeping with artistic anger. Really, like if you took the phrase "screw you" and made that into a video game, that would be Gears of War.
Yeah, I'm just looking at an article on Otaku. This is just from the sales numbers from from December 2013 to June 29, 2014. From just some of the top games in Japan for 2014, practically. It's just a couple. The number one is Yokai Watch for the 3DS. Number 2 is Dragon Quest Monsters 2 for the 3DS, and then I see Kirby Triple Deluxe for the 3DS. So it seems more geared, from what I see here. These seems more, pretty much geared towards the 3DS. And number 4 is Mario Kart 8 for the Wii U.
Wow.
5 is Pokemon X and Y for 3DS. So it seems more 3DS focused than that. It's surprising to see that Knack is on here for number 8 for PS4.
The what?
Remember Knack? That launch game?
Is that the one with like the marionette dolls or?
Something like that. It was one of those launch games for the PS4 that everybody forgot, which is usually the case for most launch games, with exception of a few. Number 10 of Dark Souls 2 for the PS3. Some of these are not even really relatively new games. Well, Dark Souls came out. Dark Souls 2 came out 2014, so yeah. Ground Zeroes for PS3, 248,000. I don't know if that's units, probably. Or so it seems
dollars. If it was dollars, that'd be worrisome.
Yeah, seems more geared towards handheld gaming, pretty much. It's pretty much from the little bit of research I'm seeing here. A list of let's take a look now at the Bloodborne was the most downloaded game in Japan last year, so I'm seeing that.
Oh, nice. At least they got taste.
Japan's top-selling games of 2014. Knack is the number 1 PS4 title. That says a lot right there. Like, if that game is number 1 PS4 title in Japan, they're not really...
Was there like a big sale that day?
I don't know, man. It's so crazy. From what I'm seeing here in the top 100 in 2014, a lot of it seems to go towards 3DS and a couple of Nintendo console products. Not a whole lot of other games we were kind of familiar with, whether it be on the consoles or handheld. So it seems mainly geared towards 3DS and it makes sense to see a couple of Pokemon games in here, and Pokemon's really big over there. I went to the Pokemon Center there. That's actually one of the things I went to.
Oh, please tell me there was a Hot Nurse Joy there.
I did not see a Hot Nose Joy, but there was a lot
Damn
of
it,
Pokemon.
that's my fetish.
A lot of Pokemon plushies there.
Man,
Pikachu chefs.
Oh man, that is cool. What is the like? What did they actually sell there? Is it just like a restaurant, or is it just like a themed? I don't know, like a themed a clothing store, or what have you?
It's pretty much just a big kind of a big store for all things Pokemon. A bunch of Pokemon merch. Yeah, anything you can think of is going to be Pokemon themed. Pokemon plushies, Pokemon little accessories for the 3DS. A lot of snacks, cookies and candy of Pokemon, all sorts of thing Pokemon. Choose your preference of Pokemon merch, and you'll find it there. That's pretty much what all it is. But it was a lot of fun to check it out. It was really cool. I didn't really buy a whole lot of things. I bought a lot of food and a lot of snacks there for sure. and the new shoes.
Bit expensive.
That's practically it, and a camera, which I took a lot of pictures with. So that was a nice steal for me to buy electronics over there too. But yeah, I will conduct further research to see kind of what the hot games are over there in Japan. It seems more geared towards 3DS, so that seems like what's going on over there.
Mm-hmm. And I'm going to take this moment. I apologize. Just going to interrupt for a second.
Sure.
For those of you who followed my Twitter posting, who are here in the chat room, I offered $30 to whoever would answer this little next question here, little trivia. So the first person to respond to it correctly on Twitter will receive $30, and I'll contact you later. So the question is, who was the first? Speaking of Pokemon, who was the first Pokemon created by Game Freak? Not the first Pokemon in the Pokedex, the first Pokemon designed and created.
Ooh. We'll leave that up to the folks listening now. You can answer it.
Do it quick.
You can answer it right here on the Mixer chat or through Twitter. You can send CH a message over there on Twitter. You tweet at him, CH_Gorog, or tweet me, and I'll tell you. I'll forward the answer to CH to see if this is correct. Sum up his cite his sources to see what it is, because I don't know. So,
I'm American. Splinter, we went over this. I don't need sources. I'm American.
I want some of that $30.
Manifest destiny. That's my source from God.
I may answer this question myself.
Well, the first person who answers it correctly on Twitter, I will be more than happy to confirm it, and I will talk with you about it as soon as I see it.
Absolutely. So this will be up for grabs there, folks. If it hasn't been claimed already, if you're listening to the archives, nope. Anything can happen right now on the live Buddy Thumbs. This sort of thing can happen. CH giving away money like it's sand or paper. It's
dollar bills, y'all.
I don't know what sand and paper has to do with this, but hey,
sandpaper.
I'll bring it up.
Hey, depending on how rich you are, you can get the really coarse sandpaper.
No, what's on my lip feels like sandpaper. So.
Oh, hey, have you not shaved in a while?
Usually I just don't shave. I'm not the kind of person that shaves every day because I don't really grow a lot of hair. I really wish I could grow a mustache. That'd be cool, like a pirate mustache. But all it amounts to is just little peach fuzz that feel tickly when I rub it against something. So that's all it amounts to. It feels like sandpaper when I rub my fingers.
I assume most of the people who demand that you shave so that you're not so ticklish is probably 90% your girlfriend. It's like, listen, baby, I love you, but I can't stand your whiskers tickling me when we cuddle.
Exactly.
And
but I digress. CH. Any other questions you guys have about my experiences in Japan, or anything you're curious about the culture and just what I've experienced? I could talk about it all day. This is just what I've talked about. It's just kind of some of the highlights that personally I'm thinking about right now that I like the most: the bathrooms, the food, and a lot of shopping. So that's kind of my main three things. And sightseeing before anything else is just it's was pretty cool. So I mean, anything you wanna ask me, feel free to. That's pretty much it until the next adventure soon. Hopefully, we'll be traveling abroad again.
I went to the Ukraine. It was depressing.
Went to the Ukraine?
I went to the Ukraine. It was depressing.
Where'd you go?
I thought it would be like The Witcher, but it's not. It's more like end of the Soviet Union. It's just lots of angry Russians, lots of territorial disputes. There is no happiness.
Should have gone to Scotland Yard.
I should have gone to Scotland Yard. Speaking of Scotland Yard, I was watching Austin Powers' International Man of Mystery the other week with my cousin, and
classic, yeah.
And just one of my favorite lines ever, just the Irish assassin. He's just like every time he kills someone, he puts like a magic charm on his bracelet. It's like, aye, that always after me lucky charms. Why does everyone always laugh when I say that? They are after me lucky charms.
Yeah, that movie and the second one were definitely. Mike Myers is on top, on top of his game back in the day. After that Love Guru, you haven't heard from him since.
So the only thing like he did outside of that was, like, I don't know, Inglourious Bastards.
Right.
And then that's probably about it.
Yeah.
Oh, and the Shrek movies. But,
the Shrek movies.
Yeah. Hey, Scared Shrekless, that was one of my favorite direct-to-DVD movies of all time.
Man, I had an idea one day, like I always wanted. If I had more time, I would like definitely just like pick through like the bottom of the barrel in terms of direct-to-DVD movies and just watch them. And and review
we gotta do that at some point.
Like do like a. Yeah, I mean that's like it's just so crazy because there's so much out there in terms of like direct to DVDs that I'm just fascinated by them. Like how kind of how they had the initial premise to make this film and have it go from there to direct to DVD. Which is not to say that every direct to DVD is bad. It's just I'm just always fascinated to see just how much of it there is out there and how much really revenue kind of gets back in return, especially the really crappy ones. Like I can't imagine they can really make a lot in return unless the people buy it for the story or for the jokes to watch them. Like just cliche movies, even the ones that are intentionally bad or the ones that are trying to be bad for the sake of people buying into it. Like I can't even take what's that movie? Shit.
RoboCop.
No, not RoboCop.
Dirty Dancing.
No.
RoboCop 2.
I can't even take Sharknado seriously.
Oh yeah.
They're trying too hard.
They are okay. The movie you need to see. Essentially, we just need a sci-fi original movie marathon.
Yes.
Like there was like.
Probably all of them, like 5 of them, will star Eric Roberts.
It's like, dude, you were in The Dark Knight. You had a good thing going. What the hell's going on?
He's gotta pay that.
Heck no.
He's gotta pay that rent.
Volcano. I'm looking this up because there's a sci-fi movie that came on. It was just like giant spiders were attacking LA, but they were made of lava, and it makes no sense. But it's just like, this is interesting because I've never seen something this crazy.
Sounds right up my alley.
Arachnoquake. It doesn't even make sense.
I gotta read the premise for this.
Oh, and then I did do a live streaming. A live tweet session of a sci-fi movie. It was essentially just like a giant Soviet Union robot versus a giant shark, and it was wonderful. Because they had like a military. I'm trying to remember what the name of that. I'm just gonna go look through it. But essentially, I keep saying essentially. I'm really angry at myself for doing that. I'll try not to do that as
Jesus,
much.
Arachnoquake.
Arachnoquake. It's there is shoot. Oh, Mega Shark versus Colossus, but Colossus is with a K. That's how you know how Russian it is.
I thought it was the makers. I thought it was NetherRealm making this movie.
It is wonderful because the robot looks like the Attack on Titans meets Pacific Rim, but it just looks terrible. Like somebody slapped on some silly putty to a transformer and called that a day, and they lured out. Okay, no joke. One of the plot points is luring the giant Colossus out to the ocean with a giant American flag to get it angry enough to follow it into the ocean to destroy the American flag.
I'm seeing this all-star cast, including Edward Furlong is in here.
You have no concept of how good these. It is obvious this was like shot in a weekend because there is the military. Whenever they cut back to like the military commanders, they only have like one frame of a shot on them. Just like, listen, we don't have the time to shoot you from multiple angles. One medium shot will do. And the best part is that movie, the military commander, he's cross-eyed, but they never bring that up. So it's just the most hilarious thing to see him like try to have like a really serious conversation. Like, we're protecting America. It's like, listen, dude, you're either looking at me or you're looking at the snack machine. Which one is it?
Yeah, practically that's all you need to know about this movie because the synopsis on Rotten Tomatoes is like the shortest thing I've ever seen. An earthquake triggers a giant spider attack on the city of New Orleans. That's all you need to know. I'm sold.
It's
even the poster looks. Even the poster looks bad.
Oh my gosh!
This is like the worst Microsoft Paint job ever. I think Microsoft Paint could pull off a movie poster than this.
You know what's really interesting is that after Lord of the Rings happened, they started getting like really big stars for their sci-fi original movies. They had like I think they had Sean Bean, they had Sean Astin in like a time traveling movie. They had John Rhys Davies in a medieval swords and sorcery sort of movie, and then they went back to being crap, and then sci-fi has been like the most inconsistent channel I've ever seen because it's like it started out it's like, okay, we're gonna run B movies and Mystery Science Theater 3000 because that's all we can afford, and then they started gaining clout. It's like, oh, let's make some original programming like Eureka and Battlestar Galactica and actually make some headway in terms of good original programming. It's like, oh, that's cool. And now they're just back to crap and Sharktopus and Sharknado and all these things.
Yeah, I haven't really kept up with sci-fi for good reasons, but I actually been in the mood to watch these cheesy, cheaply made movies again. A lot of the Anchor Bay kind of films that end up on the sci-fi, so I'll definitely put this on the list. I still have yet to see the one you told me about a while back with with what is his name? I'm forgetting names. With one of the people. My goodness.
That's all right. It's all good. No.
I'm spreading thin. My mind. I think this may be a sign of Alzheimer's right now.
It may be
with George Takei.
George Takei.
It was one of those sci-fi movies, but he ended up getting killed, and I think he was on a plane or something.
I don't know about that, but I know for a fact you need to watch AI Assault because it is the best comedy I have ever seen.
I've seen
years.
parts of it. Yeah.
Oh, it is just like so badly done. It's beautiful. It really should be a cult classic over Sharknado.
Transmorphers is a.
Oh, Transmorphers!
Yeah.
George Takei and they had like started getting like really, really good actors for their stuff. Like it's like okay, they got James Edward Olmos for Battlestar Galactica. They started getting interesting guest stars for like Warehouse 13 and
right.
Continuum. I think was another one that they picked up, and then it's just like. That's what they love to do, but how they keep the lights on are with these really crappy movies.
Mm-hmm. I'm surprised we haven't seen more of these movies with Steven Seagal starring them. I mean, I'd watch them.
No, okay, Steven Seagal does action films. B-movie action films, not B-movie sci-fi films.
He needs to, I think it's one of those things where I like to see Steven Seagal experiment, and branch out. We've seen a lot of the greats. Arnold's branched out to do some sci-fi movies. The 6th Day, Terminator. Well, it's kind of his bread and butter. He started out with Terminator, but 6th Day, all those other movies, Total Recall, Running Man,
Maggie.
Honestly,
Predator.
Arnold's the most diverse actor. His palette of movies is
Jingle
impeccable.
All the Way.
Jingle All the Way. Kids, family film, family-friendly film that taught us the lesson of not to be oversaturated with materialistic during Christmas. So all that matters is that you go out of your way and do the best you can.
Be with family.
Be your family. Love your. Take care of yourself. Take care of others. That's the Jerry Springer outro monologue here.
So, what have we learned here today? We learned that predators cannot win against Schwarzenegger.
It's that cover yourself in mud and you'll win against all predators.
I'm still waiting for Steven Seagal's JCVD return to form. Where
man.
Where he just like he plays the washed up version of himself who knows. He's a ponytail salesman. You're going out of business, Steve.
The only real movies Steven Seagal's branched off and doing was he was like a vampire movie. That's the only one I've seen that was on Sci-Fi.
Oh yeah, and I'm sorry. Tag Gibby was right. It was Lavalantula.
Lavalantula.
That
has a good ring to it.
Mm.
But other than that, that's
like they just like pair natural disasters with an animal. It's like, how about Snake NATO? Or Rabid Raccoon Tsunami.
My goodness.
My gracious.
I gotta write down these movies.
Yeah, they're just doing what they do, which is really cheesy, corny, really bad movies. But heck, if that allows them to produce more original material, then good on them for doing that.
Right.
So, what have you been playing as of late? I know you got back from Japan, but have you had time to play anything?
Not as much as I would like to. Well, the only thing I played recently was the last recent episode that came out for Game of Thrones was episode 5.
Ooh.
Honestly, yeah, I got a few things to say about that episode. It pretty much, I still I streamed a little bit of it for what I could. I finished the whole game, but I didn't complete the game on stream because I had a couple things to do. So pretty much to sum it off, I wasn't really too blown away by the episode. Really, I feel like this the series of Game of Thrones for Telltale is not really a good entry point for those who want to get into Telltale games. It's definitely like kind of like on the lower part of the totem pole for the Telltale. It's not bad. It's not necessarily it won't blow your socks off in terms of like innovation or great storytelling. It's just it really seems like it's really cashing in on the series right now, series popularity of Game of Thrones. Like, not to say that there isn't anything worth really investing yourself into. There's a couple. It had a few highlights.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, I think a few highlights. It's not as bad as the Jurassic Park game.
Oh no!
That's
That's
not really
the low bar.
Yeah, that's the low bar. But it's just not really anything to really write home about. It's just it's very average, to be honest with you. I don't know how many teams Telltale has. I don't know if this is just something that's being thrown to the B team of Telltale while they work on like probably a sequel season.
Wolf
to
Among Us
Wolf
2.
Among Us. Wolf Among Us is like, that the best thing they've done personally. And then Walking Dead is kind of what started everything. So we gotta at least acknowledge the importance of Walking Dead, and that's how they kind of put themselves on the map and redeem themselves from what is their worst game, was the Jurassic Park game. Who knows? It may breathe a new life with the success of the Jurassic Park movie.
Jurassic World.
Maybe under Jurassic World game by Telltale. I could see that happening.
Yeah, it's I like Telltale for ever since I like their Back to the Future games. I love a lot of their the writing that they have, but it's Game of Thrones in particular. This one, it's not. You hit the nail right on the head. Where it's not really about. You're going to be confused going into it. Like the start of the season is the Red Wedding, and that takes a lot of backstory to kind of understand the context of what's going on.
Right.
And then a lot of the voice actors from the show drop by, and it feels like when it's starting to hit its stride of being independent and its own take on the universe, then they shoehorn in Peter Dinklage or Lena Headey, or they bring in Daenerys or Jon Snow. And a lot of times it feels like, okay, we don't really need this. And it's not even like The Walking Dead, where it's like, okay, we got a blank check to do whatever we want in this universe. It could be different. It's like, it would be like in the first season of The Walking Dead, where it's just like, we got to meet Rick and talk with him. And there's a few of those moments where they talk to some characters who cross over into the comic book series.
Yeah, pretty much Glenn. Yeah, that's one of them.
And Glenn, but it's not just like, it wasn't like just after the farm in season 2, or after like really big things like it is for Game of Thrones, where it's like they're either about to do something really big or something after really big that was in the show.
Yeah, it never was really alluded to what the time frame was when they ran into Glenn. It's just one of those things where it's just they're in the same universe, but they don't really rely heavily on knowing the time frame or knowing the backstory of the events that occurred and what happened on the show. It's just kind of a little nod to, hey, this universe is the same. It's just you're following different stories, and while the stories you may be familiar with it on the show, it's not necessarily important to what's going on now, which is definitely one of the detracting things of Game of Thrones, because it relies heavily on other stories that have taken place on the show and in the books. Unless you're really familiar with the show or the books, it's going to be a little bit hard for you to follow what's going on. You really have to have some knowledge as to what the universe is. The universe has been established already, and the characters surrounding it, because you're not really going to have too much of a strong effect on what occurs and what they're kind of going about of. I definitely expected a lot higher things on the series for sure. It has had its up and downs. Mainly just it's just mainly been in the middle. It hasn't really stood out the most. It's just it feels more like a tie-in than anything else. It's not really adding much to it, to the series than what I expected Telltale to do. Honestly, it's just not.
Well, yeah, because they're directly partnered with HBO on this project, and especially with all the voice actors. So it's just like, okay, you can't go too far out and do your own version of things. And it's also Game of Thrones, which is just like there's a very specific story. How much are you allowed wiggle room in there?
Yeah, and it's just there, and I can't feel a lot of investment into it, because I feel like any conflicts that occur with certain characters, I feel like it's not gonna. I feel like I can predict what's probably gonna occur with the characters you're
Oh yeah.
you're familiar with stuff in the game, because they can't really do anything that's gonna overstep the boundaries of the books of the show. Like
Yeah.
even the most, even they rely heavily on uh, incorporating characters to add more drama, where we know for a fact that we're not going to be able to do anything about these characters or have any sort of effect that
No.
will overall affect this game, because we know, because one of the things that I didn't like at all is because Ramsey Bolton shows up again in this episode.
Oh.
I won't say in what capacity, but this one kind of annoyed me. It's like, ugh, Ramsey, I hate you. I don't want you here. You're a cool character on the show, but I want you in this game because I'm not going to be able to kill you.
Yeah, it's just like, I want this to be a first-person shooter game so badly right now.
Yeah, they add him for convenience and for suspense. It doesn't really work for me because
I like the
can't
stuff.
do anything.
Yeah, and I like the stuff with House Forrester, like the Boltons.
Oh yeah,
I like their
yeah.
conflict,
They're
but
good-
just like
it's good
everything
stuff.
else is like when they try to attach stuff that, like, you need to know a lot of stuff about the characters and the context, like Tyrion. Why is Tyrion being arrested for killing the nephew? What happened with the nephew? Why is Daenerys so determined to free Meereen? And a lot of these details, which kind of get brushed under the rug for sake of brevity, just to keep the story going. But it's like a lot of this context that you really need, and that I didn't feel that way with The Wolf Among Us, where it's just like you know who these characters are, but you're not bogged down in context you don't know.
Right. I just feel that that the universe of Game of Thrones itself does require a lot of knowledge and context of knowing this information in the world to really get the full effect. It's not really the best way and it's not really a good entry point for newcomers of the series. That's for sure. I feel like it can't. I feel like I'm kind of 50-50 on it. It's like a standalone Game of Thrones game can work in the universe. You also have to acknowledge like what's going on, because there's a lot of big things going on, because it's a lot of families a lot of families involved, and a lot of political aspects take place that ultimately does affect the whole universe in and of itself. So it has to be brought up in some way. But I just feel like it's very difficult to make a standalone Game of Thrones game that doesn't have to rely heavily on what's going on in the grand scheme of things. I feel like it can be done, but it's also, I feel like they're relying too much on that as well, which is kind of it's just not bad for me, because I know already what's going on, but it can be really it can be really not the best for newcomers, that's for sure. It's really really heavily boggled down by relying on what's going on in the grand scheme of things of the show and books. Like, it doesn't stand out on its own. And I like a lot of the the little side stories that go on, especially the House Forrester storyline. I like that a lot. And
how Ash has been sent away, and he's got to find an army, and
that stuff is good. Like, but just incorporating characters like Daenerys is just, I feel like it's really,
they didn't need Daenerys.
They didn't need her in there, and it also is making me hate her even more, because she's kind of become annoying to me.
What I think that I will say this, I do. It's strange because, like, I don't like the inclusion of the characters, but I do like the writing of. I think this is one of the strongest bits of writing in the Game of Thrones medium, just because they really balance the darkness and the levity without going either way. It's overall a very dark and epic story and very bloody, but kind of like The Walking Dead, where it doesn't go too far, like I feel like the show does with Game of Thrones, where they really need to justify the TVMA rating. Like, okay, I don't know if I told you this, but Arya is selling oysters, clams, and cockles by the bay, and
Right.
she's going, oh, oysters, clams, and cockles. And then randomly, this guy comes up to her. It's like, "How much for your little clam, girl?" And then walks away. It's like, what the hell is that about? Like, that has no bearing on the rest of the show.
Right.
And then, I do like that they're giving, they make the characters more obviously, not obviously, but they make them flawed in a more noticeable way. Like with Jon Snow, he's very dedicated, but this makes him very inactive at times, even though he should act in the game. And with Daenerys, it's like she has all these good principles, but when, it's funny, just like as soon as they talk about the dragons, she gets like really prideful and boastful, like, how dare you hurt them? And she's, she kind of loses her cool. It's like, oh, okay, that's a very interesting character weakness she has there. But, and just seeing all that, it still doesn't make up for the fact that a lot of these characters really don't deserve to be there, and are just kind of in there to, it feels like a box art, a little sticker like featuring the all-star cast of Game of Thrones TV series. I will, however, say I would love to see, they can't do too much with the overall narrative of Game of Thrones and where it's going. I want to see the alternate universe Game of Thrones, where Sean Bean decides he has enough of it after the first season, and then just decides to go to war with his family and conquer the entire Westeros.
That would be cool. I mean, I'd definitely like to see that. Anything that could stand alone on its own that probably involves, other interesting characters of Game of Thrones would be cool to see. Like, it's just, I just feel like they don't give enough credence to the newer characters that we haven't seen on other mediums, enough credit to kind of to support the story and game on its own. Like, I feel like what they have so far, at least, I like the characters. They could definitely do a lot more with them. I like to see them more, for sure. It's just a lot of these inclusions of other characters just seems to boggle down the story a bit more for me. I don't even know where they're going to go with this last episode. We're already on episode 5, and I feel like we're kind of going nowhere, really. I feel like this battle of the White Hills and the forest just seemed like it's going to be dragging on for probably another season.
Yeah, unless
something drastic happens, and a lot
happens. It's Game of Thrones, so probably everyone's going to be dead.
I don't know what they're going to do with the next episode, especially how this recent one ended. Which I'll give credit. It wasn't too bad how, the scenario they set up on this one. I didn't mind it. Like, it was one of those cases where I ended up choosing, making a choice that will probably have more of a greater effect in terms of story, rather than choosing a character that I like preferably to live. So I kind of went that route too.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I think this will make for a better story arc to go this route instead of this other route, because honestly, I probably preferred this character more than the other. So
I think I know who you're talking about, and it's just like thinking of like it's not really okay. I kind of like this character, but I really like this character, but determining on like, okay, what responsibilities do they have, and what would happen. I don't want to spoil too much of it, but anyway, a very, very interesting choice. And the last thing I'll say about it's very telling that this is based on that this is more centered around the TV show and trying to involve that audience into getting this game, because it's called Game of Thrones and not A Song of Fire and Ice.
That's true. That is true. You definitely hit the nail on the head, because that's what pretty much the whole book series is pretty much called Song of Fire and Ice, and it goes to show that it's the same kind of marketing kind of presentation they do with all these other book properties that could turn into a show or a movie. They always go off of like the name other than the books. Like, they would go with the Hunger Games series, they go with Divergence. And if it was the
Hunger Games adaptation, it'd be like Katniss can't pick a damn love interest.
Yes. So that's what they're doing with Game of Thrones. They're not just Game of Thrones. That's the TV show. Song of Fire and Ice, the books. So
yeah,
I'll just I'll take that fact and I'll live with it. Honestly, like, if you have seen the show or familiar with the books, either one of those, I mean, I would still, if you can get on probably a discount, I would. I mean, you wouldn't lose anything by playing it, but I can't say that you would gain anything either. So it has that middle ground. I can't say.
If I would say get the entire season when cheaper.
Yeah.
Or just watch a YouTube of the choices and the story bits. It's not the big negative is the crowbarring in of storylines and characters from the TV show. Obviously, they're just to encourage fans of the series, and you didn't really need that with The Walking Dead, which Tag Gibby says Glenn was there for the comic book and TV show fans, but then they went their own direction. That's true. I mean, at the end of the first episode, Glenn leaves, and after Herschel's farm, that's all said and done, and it's like they don't like keep on going back, and it's not like Tales from the Borderlands. The other series that they're currently working on, I gotta say, I really dig that writing, although it's a little bit uneven with the drama, comedic stuff. But I have to say it's the better of the two, and I love that you don't really need to know who Handsome Jack is to understand his importance, and they explain enough of it to where you go, oh, okay, I get who this guy is. Then you just go on. Right.
But yeah, I also do agree with you on the point that, I mean, the even though they do shoehorn these characters in Game of Thrones, it is the writing, the dialogue is written pretty good. I mean, it's not it's good enough to get you immersed into the game. It just like we talked about, just the shoehorning in of these characters just kind of boggle down the story, and it just feels like it's not even worth it anymore, because it just feels like you're not gonna really. You feel like you have no control, because these characters that are important to the show you're not gonna be able to really.
Ramsay, Daenerys, Jon.
Yeah, like you can't really shoehorn them in to their story arcs, because it's not going to be even acknowledged in the show. So I just feel like a lot of that is just boggling down the game. We'll see how the last episode goes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what they're gonna really
could make or break it.
It could make or break me, even considering seeing what happens if they continue this on another season.
Mm-hmm.
It really will.
I think the difficulty with doing Game of Thrones is that it's a lot about families and a lot about big organizations and how they interact with each other. And so you can't really have a new family show up without already being embroiled or having like a 30-year history with the other families. Because like George R. R. Martin spends like 5 chapters on like the third cousins who you only see for like 2 seconds. So it's trying to include them or try to make new groups of people is difficult. So I can understand why they had to provide character context, I guess, with the other people, but it still feels way too. It still feels like a third limb growing out of like where it shouldn't.
Yeah, we'll just see, because there were characters that I thought I would like in the beginning of the season, and then they kind of haven't been really doing much in terms of the story. It just kind of seems like it's kind of going in an unknown direction, where there are other characters that I really didn't think about as much, and then they ended up developing into quite a relatively good story arc. And just by what happened on this one, it just kind of leaves me with a lot of unknowing desires to continue. It just kind of like I'm on the cusp on it, because this next episode is going to make or break it for me, because I don't know if I even will go on any further.
I felt the same way about The Walking Dead season 2, where I loved season one. I thought it was a fantastic story from beginning to end. And then with season two, it was really like, I don't know how this is balancing. I don't know how this is going to pay off at the end. And then at the ending, that was kind of a wet fart. Just like okay, it wasn't terrible, but you guys kind of wasted our time.
Yeah, I would agree. Like, I didn't love season two as I did the first season, because the first season, was one of a kind. It's really going to be hard to replicate or even live up to the quality that they set themselves with the first season. The first season, it's a classic. I'd recommend anyone to play it, whether you like zombies or you don't even know what The Walking Dead is. I'd recommend it to anybody. Second season, it was kind of, wasn't bad, but necessarily wasn't as innovative or as memorable or captivating as the first season was, which is hard to really ask of that. But you at least gotta hope they do that. Hopefully, we'll see what to do on the next season. Thanks again. Thanks for listening, Tag.
Yes, thank you very much, Tag, and have a good night.
Hope you listen to the rest of this episode on a later time. But yeah, man, that's Game of Thrones. That's Game of Thrones in a nutshell for that episode in particular. I can't believe it's already kind of gone by already. Like already on the fifth episode, and then there's like another episode coming on, which is the last one. I haven't really been paying attention to it that much, because whenever it does come out, I download it and just don't play it until a couple of weeks after, and then I guess that's why, because I haven't been playing them when they've come out, because I feel like I don't necessarily have to go out and play it, because it just hasn't been really capturing my attention that much. But I played it because I bought the season pass. I was excited for it. Once we heard about the announcement and just potential interest in what they could have done, but it hasn't been living up too much of my expectations. But I'm playing it for the sake of bought the season pass, so might as well.
Damn it, I'm gonna get my money's worth.
Yeah, it's not too bad. It wasn't. At least I didn't play full price for it. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, and I feel like maybe they shouldn't have done the direct partnership with HBO, so their hands wouldn't be as tied with the adaptations that they were doing with the characters and so forth. And B, maybe choose a property which is more free for them to experiment around. Like quite honestly, I would love for them to do a West Wing game where all the trials and tribulations of the political sphere, or maybe Downton Abbey, where it's the running of the Abbey or a Abbey or whatever. I like their dialogue choices. I like the ethical dilemmas and the characters that they have, and I feel like if you give them a universe where they have enough freedom to do what they want, and that will lead itself to very, very good times.
I'd go with the 24 Telltale game.
Yeah, dude, I completely agree. I don't know if I want Jack Bauer back, just because every time they bring him back, it gets worse for him. It's just like a member of his family is killed, or he's suspected of terrorism, or he ends up on the run, or he's like put into a gulag. It's like, listen, just leave him alone. Like, there's how many layers of humanity do you have left for us to strip you of?
Yeah, you're right. I mean, as much as I love Jack Bauer's character, and
leave him alone,
and just all the seasons and all the great story arcs and moments, like just seeing the evolution, or I guess de-evolution, however you want to look at it, just of his character, and also the people he loves that kind of become more afraid to even be associated with him, because they may end up getting killed. That's one of the things they explored in one of the seasons. But I think it's, as much as I
did finally see the end of that of the miniseries.
Oh, you did?
Yes.
Oh, we got to talk about it real quick because
Oh
I'd
yeah.
like to
Oh
get
yeah.
your thoughts on it. But to wrap up my thoughts on the series in general, like I think I know Fox has been talking about bringing that back with like a whole new cast and not with Jack Bauer involved, which is at first I was kind of disappointed, but at the same time I'm like, you know what? I think after this miniseries, I think it wrapped up in a good way. I could say that the last season wrapped up in a good way too. I think it's just
Yes.
I feel the same way how I feel uh, about Sam Fisher with the Splinter Cell series. I think he's been through enough to the point where I think it's time to kind of hang the curtains on whatever the expression is, hang
Oh.
hang the coats, whatever.
uh,
Put
I
him.
don't know. Put Jack Bauer out to stud. Put him out in the pasture. I don't know what the. I know what you mean though. Just like it's time to retire his jersey.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's time to retire, just so he doesn't really get stale or oversaturated. I mean, I guess some would say that's already been done because over like 8 or 9 seasons. But I think it's a good time. As much as I hate to see the character go, I mean, it's time for him to have his moment of solace, and just like Max Payne 3
Hmm.
had that moment too, where it just Max could finally relax and hopefully not get caught up in another cartel situation where he has to shoot his way through a bunch of endless hordes of cartel members. So I feel the same way about Splinter Cell. Like they should definitely. You should definitely hang it up there and follow a new character. I think it was a great run. Sam Fisher and Jack Bauer was a great run. As
Yeah.
much as I love those characters, it would definitely be time for a new generation or some kind of role that involves them in a more
Jack Bauer Jr.
Advisory role, like we've talked about.
Mm.
With Sam Fisher, him being like the Lambert for a new Splinter Cell. That would
Yeah.
work. But instead, they made him 20 years younger.
it's it, and if I would, I would still have a problem with that if I didn't love Blacklist so much.
That's
Uh,
true. That's true.
if they recasted Chris Pine as Jack Bauer and he did a good job, then who knows? But I feel like for right now, if they want their story to kind of be, I don't know, a more eternal, constantly shifting story of ideas and of this particular of CTU and everything, well then they should probably switch out Jack Bauer and the problem with having Jack Bauer back is that you already know he's probably not going to die because he's like the fan favorite. So
Has always been the discussion for like almost every season. Like it almost loses that kind of suspense on like how he's going to be able to cope with all the odds stacked against him, because we know he'll probably overcome it and not end up getting killed. There was a few times where they kind of got you, where he may end up dying. I mean, season 4 is one of the prime examples where he faked his own death. But regardless, like it could. I like the idea of either Sam Fisher or Jack Bauer taking on a more of a mentor advisory role, much like Sam Fisher could take the role of a kind of a Lambert kind of character, and also can make way for like a new generation who may play Splinter Cell, and then they will recognize Sam Fisher as the advisory or mentor kind of role, and they would look at him as so, and then we'll look at it as him as through the journey which he arrived at to this point. So we kind of like it kind of gives an incentive for new players to play the old Splinter Cell games to kind of get an idea what he was like as a Splinter Cell. But that's too much continuity to delve into a series that will make Ubisoft makes them money, so they'll stick with making them 20 years younger.
gotta get them Ubisoft dollars.
But I'll give them credit. They do a good job.
Yes, they did. And if that's how they're able to get away with it. And how about we talk about 24 and Live Another Day?
Yeah, well, I'll just want to get your quick thoughts on it. I know I've been kind of nagging you on watching the rest of that series. I really enjoyed that little miniseries. I have it on Blu-ray. I haven't rewatched it because just I'm terrible at wanting to rewatch shows because I'm always kind of looking forward and looking ahead as to what I'll watch next. Probably after this discussion, I'll probably put it on my top priority to rewatch that miniseries again. But what did you think of that overall miniseries there?
I haven't seen 24 in a couple of years, so this was, it was a little bit rusty. I was trying to, get everyone's relationships down pat for the first episode. They do a very, very good job of introducing the conflicts, introducing what's going on, the subplots, the major plots. I love, always dealing with morality and terrorism and ethics and democracy and to what lengths people go to protect the country. And it's interesting because Jack Bauer is not this. He's not like Captain America in The Winter Soldier, where he's just like, no, people's morality should be trusted above other things. Where it's, Jack Bauer would be like, "You're a goddamn idiot!" Like people, like we're doing this to protect people, you stupid Boy Scout. And it's a really good, in England, it's a very, very interesting series of events because it concerns drone warfare, it concerns plausible deniability, and then you have President Heller, who is kind of like FDR, suffering from disease that he doesn't want let out, and they really know how to use tension well, because every single episode has a very consistent level of tension of what's going to happen, what are they going to do. It's never like one episode is build up and then the next is payoff. It's like there's always something going on. It's like, oh no, Jack needs to get into this building, but he needs the right credentials. And he goes up to the building thinking he's got the right credentials. But it turns out that the computer hasn't loaded them in yet, so he's actually got to he's got to actually make a distraction so that he can get in, and then this, that, and the other thing. And it's actually a much more intelligent show with very, very surprising twists. There are a number of subplots and character deaths that I did not see coming. And I'm not saying the character deaths are the big thing, but just when they happen, because you honestly don't expect them to happen, because sometimes they'll get away and barely survive and say like, oh no, we got to do this, but then sometimes they'll barely get away only for them to be killed later. And it's a thrilling show, as 24 has always really held the mantle of being. Jack Bauer of Kiefer Sutherland, come on, the man is just so awesome. Great action scenes. I love the fact that they really got some great talent this time around with Stephen Fry as the Prime Minister. Because hey, any production with Stephen Fry is already going to be better in my book. I would give it the only thing I did not like, the big sticking point with me, right, was the subplot with Mark Boudreau, played by Tate Donovan, who I liked Yvonne Strahovski as Kate Morgan, and everybody's kind of and everyone else's sort of subplots. Some of them kind of felt a little too coincidental, like, oh, this thing just happens to be connected to this thing, but those are few and far between. The thing I did not like was Mark Boudreau, and his whole subplot is about forging the president's signature, even though he really didn't need to.
Yeah.
And the explanation for that is kind of weak. It's like, oh, wait, I can't let you. I need you to have plausible deniability. It's like, okay, there's that, but then there's the fact, like, you weren't even going after him when this thing started, and then you just kind of did it anyway. And I don't know, it seemed that was the only part that really felt really forced to get a certain subplot going.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I feel like that part was a little weak, and also consequential to serve for the plot line later on, the latter half of the series. But other than that, it didn't take me out too much. But yeah, Yvonne Strahovski was good too. I always have a soft spot for her as from
as
Chuck,
Miranda.
from Chuck, and then from Miranda and Mass Effect 2. So no problem with that. And yeah, I mean, how long is it? What was the last season you would say you saw of 24? Because me being a 24 veteran, like, you know, there's deaths left and right on every season. So sometimes, you know, amongst fans, they can always kind of predict who's gonna die sometimes. So I know it's been a while since you've seen it, so that kind of effect may have worn off on you, because that's always been the tropes of 24 every season. Someone important may die on that season. It's close to the show, or you know, every season too. Like somebody's a mole every season. So
yeah, oh yeah, someone's double crossing. Like, I would like to see just a season of 24. Everyone just like, nope, we're all in the up and up. Let's just go.
Right. So how long would you say has it been for, like, a season?
I remember specifically which I'm looking up on Wikipedia right now, and the one I ended at before starting this one was 24 Redemption, which was the TV movie where Jack was on trial for torturing people, and he goes,
okay.
"Yeah, damn right, I was torturing people. I was torturing terrorists to save people. Like, don't you people understand this?"
Yeah, so I would probably say you ended off on Redemption, which was the prequel to season 6. So that's about 3 seasons in between this Live Another Day, which is fine. I mean, you got a good amount of seasons on your belt there. I mean, there was some interesting things that occurred in season 6. Peter Weller was in that season.
Oh, cool!
Too.
Love Peter Weller.
Peter Weller was in there. No, it was, who else? There was another actor. James Cromwell was Jack Bauer's dad in that season.
Whenever they need somebody to be the father figure or the father, they get James Cromwell. It's like, he was George Stacy in Spider-Man 3. He was the Doctor in iRobot. He was he was Matt Damon's dad in Ocean's 13. It's like, whenever you need the father, you get James Cromwell.
Yeah, but I think you got a good chunk of 24 under your belt to have a good idea as to what is going on. And also, there's a few things that occurred in there that I'm sure that they explained there too, because there were some other relationships that Jack was involved in, and this whole other thing with Audrey too, because Audrey ended up being almost a vegetable, like in season 6. Something happened with her. Oh, she ended up getting taken by the Chinese.
Oh, okay. I didn't see that at all.
Yeah, that was one of the things that happened. She was tortured by them to get to Jack, and that was one of the subplots that occurred during the seasons, that how she ended up being affected by it. And then in this new season with the Live Another Day, she ended up kind of recovering from that and being back to her normal self and not being in kind of a comatose state. How she ended up having to be in, like, in season 6. It was a really depressing season. That last episode was like really depressing, with like Jack just feeling like utter crap and feeling like anyone that gets involved with them, their lives will get destroyed. And it almost felt like he was going to commit suicide in, like, that last episode, because he was looking out in the sea, and they were like, because he was in his penthouse with the
man, he looking out to sea with the lighthouse in the distance, like that's the writer's shorthand for he's going to commit suicide.
I would say that was probably one of the stronger moments of that season. That season wasn't, from what I remember, it wasn't necessarily. I'll have to rewatch it because I want to rewatch it again. That was during, like, the writer's strike, so that season kind of suffered from the writer's strike. But after that, it definitely, I felt it was solid after that. Season 7, Season 8, well, the one was Freddie Prinze Jr. and Freddie Prinze Jr. and he was good, he was good in Mass Effect 3, and
Dragon Age Inquisition.
Not a lot of people give him credit,
and of course Scooby-Doo.
And Katie Sackhoff was in one of the seasons too.
Ah, cool.
Very cool. Very feel like she should be in more roles, and she's on. I think she could be a good Miss Marvel, to be honest.
Oh yeah, yeah. She's a very strong leading character, and I've only seen her in a few roles. The only one outside of Battlestar Galactica was the Riddick movie that they had recently, and she was fine there. But she's also got Longmire as I think one of the sheriffs, and apparently she's really good in that one. So I think she could do a very very good leading lady, a very nice Captain Marvel especially.
Yeah, one of the things I regret. I'm sure I could still get my hands on it. I regret not finishing up Battlestar Galactica because it was on Netflix for a time, and then it got as everything else sometimes occurs on Netflix. Things will get taken off of there, I guess, due to probably contract reasons, and they're only on there for a certain amount of time.
I'm gonna get flamed for this, but you're not entirely missing much.
I know, but I still wanted to see it anyways. Like I liked what I've watched so far, like of that first season, and I know that it had its up and downs, even leading up to was the finale pretty good at least.
No.
Aww.
Dude, it's like it's good in the way that, oh, thank God it's over, because
it felt like there was a lot of seasons from what I was looking at. I guess
there's like 6 seasons,
like 6 or 7 seasons, and then weren't there like tie-in movies after too?
Way too many. There's like the tie-in movie. There was like 3
Lord.
Tie-in movies.
Maybe I'm glad I didn't see it.
Then there's like a prequel. There was like a prequel TV series. The thing is, it isn't a bad show. Like, okay, the first season of Battlestar Galactica, spectacular, love it.
Right.
The first half of the second season and most of the second half of the second season, very, very, very good. And then it just starts to get worse and worse and worse, and it just like, what the hell are you guys doing? And then they try to get back to the status quo of like, okay, so first they have like the the caravan of ships trying to find Earth, and then they stop and then try to make a new colony, and then they try to do that again of going to Earth and trying to figure out what's going on, and just it really does show that they had no idea, and this is something that they admitted, that they had no plan for the show. None. It was just like, okay, we're making this up as we go along, and it shows a lot. And especially, okay, the ending is so freaking confusing because it's one of the characters who I do love this character, Gaius Baltar, in the series, because he's this, like, conniving, like, coward who is like the scientist. He's like this playboy scientist superstar, but he's
right.
Such a huge liar, and he keeps seeing these mental images of Trisha Helfer as number 6, and who's like seducing him, and like there's always this question of like, is it like a chip in his brain that he's seeing her? Like, is he hallucinating her? Is she actually an angel who he can see? And it just like they don't ever decide, and then at the end it literally at the end of the show you go, wait, that makes absolutely no sense. Because like they're trying to make it seem deep and intellectual, and at the very end you're just like, holy crap, you guys had no idea what you were doing.
Well, from what you told me, it seems like they didn't know either, so
yeah.
Oh, that's a shame, man.
It's like there's these small moments of brilliance inside this, like the overall stuff is just not good, but like the shorter stuff, first season, fantastic. Watch that first season, and then
I loved it. I mean, the episode like 32.
Oh my god, yeah, that was an amazing episode. It's like every single second of that is like brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. And then it just like and then like the longer the show goes on, the more it's very important to have a plan. And then it's a fine TV show, it's quality, but it's just missing that connective tissue between it all, and a lot of it is coincidental storylines for the sake of we have this cast of actors who we need to constantly use, so let's not drift out of using them.
33 actually, not 32.
33.
Yeah, I think it seems like it was one of those cases where like the show really captured a lot of people that first season, and then like you said, like it had its moments, like not a lot of moments, but it had its like very low points, especially, and it seemed like a lot of people were really rooting for the show to kind of get good.
Oh,
so they
yes.
kind of stuck with it. So I can kind of see myself wanting for it to be good, wanting for it to get better. Like even after that first season, like it had a lot of potential. Like and maybe not getting everything they wanted, but I think it's for the sake of. I think if I watched them now, I maybe want to stick with it after the first season. But like,
it's
definitely
fine now that you can binge watch it.
For sure.
It was harder when you were going week to week. Just like I don't know if I can invest in this anymore.
Right. I feel like if I would have watched this on a weekly basis, I probably would have stuck with it because hey, I'm already finished. I'm already on the second season. I'll probably have to ride this out and see what happens. And see where it kind of gets to and how it evolves or devolves. Like there's a strange fascination that I can definitely see why people maybe would have stuck with it for that long to see. Hopefully, if it even it improved or even had an idea what the hell it wanted to be.
It's even weirder because the miniseries and the first season are great, especially since they paint the Cylons in this very mysterious. Coloring of like why in the world do they do this, where are they from, like what's their reasoning for this, what is the religion that they have, and then it's just like, oh okay, how about this, we make them as least interesting as possible from then on out. It's and then it's just like, oh no, it's just because they like this. Oh well, what about this? No, it's just this. Oh, and it just like they're not terrible reasons, but it's just like the least you're reading a biography like, oh, my dentist is like this really cool guy, he's got a great personality, like I'd like to know where he's from. And so he just like tells you he's from Wisconsin and he grew up in a small town and he didn't really like, he was just he just like a story, like it's enough story to be like satiating, but not enough to be ever to really want to revisit that. It's like, oh, okay, well then I guess that's the case.
Right.
Yep. So anyway, Battlestar Galactica, mid interest level and suggestion that you go check it out. I definitely recommend that you go check out Downton Abbey. I didn't think I'd love it, man. That is absolutely my jam now.
Oh, definitely.
It is. Ooh. It is a good one.
Definitely put it down on the list among many things I have to see. It was a nice discussion there. Well, to top it off, I'm glad you enjoyed the 24 miniseries.
Oh yes, trust me, the pleasure was all on this side, and I absolutely agree with you that Telltale would make one hell of a game out of that, especially with the ethical decisions and characters who live and who die, and very, very interesting.
Yeah, I mean their formula of storytelling and the choices you always make would definitely work for that series for sure. Yeah, not to mention that I think it would definitely bode well for them to do something like that, more kind of action oriented, more fast-paced and more suspenseful. Like they're really good at doing the suspense, so definitely will work with them. And anything to get a better 24 game will be great.
I was about to say, they got the high bar against them with that previous 24 game on PS2.
Yeah, even though it wasn't good, I'm always been curious to play it. Even so.
I think it was like I think Adam Sessler reviewed it back on G4, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm a fan of 24, and this game does not make me want to be a fan of 24."
Oh my god! Yeah. I remember that.
And
That was
well,
fun.
anywho, I do wish the best for 24. I kind of do hope that it comes back and becomes a long-running series of new rotating cast and characters and continues to live on.
Yeah. I know they've always been talking about doing a movie. I don't know what the really the plans are at this point after
Hmm.
this, with discussions of like almost a kind of a newer cast and not including Jack Bauer. I hate to say it may not really come to fruition as
Yeah.
we like to expect. I definitely would like to see, because it does end on a cliffhanger as well, like it kind of always does in a way that I like to see kind of a resolution. But I guess that's always been the story of Jack. Like he's always living on. He's always
Living on the edge.
living on the edge. He never can really get a good night's sleep. God damn it. He's always continuing
Yeah.
the battles.
If you ever see Jack Bauer smile, then that's when you know you've traveled over to the Bizarro universe.
Hmm.
Because when things are going right, Jack Bauer does not smile. He's like, it's going according to plan.
Nothing.
Damn it, Chloe.
Damn it.
He he had, I think it was an interview with Jay Leno where he said like because of the swearing clauses in Fox shows, we can't really swear a lot, but we can say damn. So I try to say damn as much as possible, so that when they have drinking games in college about how many times they say damn, they have to work for it.
Or like Frack, like Battlestar Galactica. We lost CH. What happened? Call dropped. Must be on CH.
Hey.
Hey. I was gonna say, like Frack in Battlestar Galactica.
Oh yeah, they get their mileage out of frack in Battlestar Galactica. They get their mileage out of damn in 24.
Well, other than that, what have you been playing, my good man?
Nothing much, honestly. It's that's a lie. One of the new games that I bought was the Rare Replay.
I've seen that. I've seen that around on Instagram. Some of the pics of that. What does that include? I haven't been following it. What games are included in that Rare Replay?
It includes the Perfect Dark Zero, the two Viva Pinata games, the two Banjo Kazooie, Banjo Tooie, Banjo Kazooie Nuts and Bolts. A lot of their older games like Snake Rattle and Roll, Attic Attack, Battletoads.
Battletoads.
Yeah, and the first for those of you who don't know the urban legend out there, GameStop would apparently had people would constantly come into GameStop asking if they had Battletoads. And that was like just like the reoccurring prank. Like to even like recently, people would be asking, "Do you have Battletoads?" And the first achievement is, "Do you have Battletoads?" Which is just like turning on Battletoads and playing Battletoads for the first time. And it is a really fun game, but a lot of these older games are fairly difficult, and especially with such limited lives. So what they did is that they incorporated unlimited lives and the ability to go back, have a little rewind button where you can go back for like about 10 seconds. And one of the things I absolutely freaking love is you have a filter that makes it look like an old cathode ray tube television set to make it look like what the game looked like back on an old cathode ray tube. And so it's like, oh my, that's so cool. And then you have the option for borders that were designed for the game, with nice art, like for Jet Force Gemini. Oh, and by the way, Jet Force Gemini, never played that one before, but it's got updated controls now, so it's a lot easier to actually maneuver and work with. And just RC Car Explosion, or I can't remember what it was, but the original Killer Instinct Gold, I think, is the game. There's essentially 30 games for $30, and it's one hell of a savings. And I gotta say, the presentation, fantastic. It's this kind of cabaret of features and games, and these cool little bits of music, and it's very lovingly done. And I gotta say, the opening cinematic for this entire game deserves some kind of award for the song, for the creativity. It reminded me a lot of Animaniacs, that intro to Animaniacs, where they introduce all the different elements and all the different game. For Animaniacs, they introduced kind of the world, they introduced the characters. That's kind of what they do with Rare, especially with trying to get everybody introduced. And one of my favorite parts is the voice actor for the Great Mighty Pooh manages to come back for his own little solo moment. So it's a very, very good collection. And boy, I just gotta say, this is nice classics. I'm kind of sad that because of licensing issues, GoldenEye and the Donkey Kong Country games can't get on there. But it is what it is. It's licensing, so yeah. But it's still a good collection as is.
I would have clamored a lot for Donkey Kong or Donkey Kong 64. That would have been something. Is anyone really clamoring for Perfect Dark Zero in this collection?
Nobody's clamoring for Perfect Dark Zero. Where there was just everybody who worked on that game just had nothing but bad things to say. Like, yeah, they told us to do it. Yeah, we didn't really want to do it. And I never played Viva Pinata when it first came out, and I was like, oh, that's a good, Rare doing that game. It's actually a really fun game. It's like Harvest Moon, but more direct, where you're trying to get the right animals, and it's surprisingly dark, because it's like the premise of the game is you are raising pinata animals on this island to eventually one day be sent off to a children's birthday party to where they can be fulfill their one act of creation and be split open so the candy inside of them can be devoured by children. And there's an ecosystem of animals eating other animals. They have a colloquial, they can't say the animals are mating for an E-rated game, so they say the animals are dancing and having a fun time. But there's like some very suggestive dialogue in there about like the animals mating, and just it's such a very cleverly dark and game. Not dark as in like morbid, but dark, a little bit like little sneaky, little cheeky buggers that they have in there, some cheeky lines, and they've done a great job with this collection.
That's really cool. It reminds me of another game that came out a while back that gave you the option to really fully customize the presentation of the game, especially with like adding the CRT scan lines. Like you probably feel more at home if you're playing those games by putting those scan lines rather than just playing it on HD TV. It's like, this doesn't feel right. This doesn't feel like how I played it.
If I have to squint, if I don't have to squint to play your game, you're not doing it right.
It's not the absolute version of this game from back in like '96. That's really cool. I mean, that's really impressive collection of games that they've put together. For what's the price range on that? As
$30.
$30, not bad. Yeah. I feel like they could have priced it more, but
Microsoft has really learned. Mm-hmm. I feel like they really stepped out of the gate with some problems where it's first the always online DRM thing, and then you have to have Kinect on there, and now they're starting to really win people over with just the games, and they realize like, okay, we can't just kind of stick to our laurels. We have to improve and make it like the must-have type of system. Right. And with Rare Replay, they've done one outstanding job.
That's really good. Like really doing good by the people who love these games and not really overpricing overpricing these older
They
games.
could have charged $60 for this.
They could have, but I'm glad to hear that they didn't, because they definitely, any other company probably would have, EA probably would have charged you $60 plus a season pass for some of these things.
Season pass, day one DLC, and just playing throughout the entirety of it, of all the Rare games, it's just so obvious that these guys loved to experiment, loved to try different things, weren't afraid of going into different genres and different types of story. They would go for like kind of serious sci-fi adventure with Perfect Dark, and then silly cartoon fun third-person game with Banjo-Kazooie, and then have kind of like the dark again. I'm sorry, dark. I must have just watched Man of Steel, because I keep saying dark over and over again as a criticism. Yeah, and then they have the kind of M-rated raunchy humor that is that's Conker's Bad Fur Day, and constantly changing it up and just consistently doing different things. Right. Or like fighting games, first-person shooter, platformers, arcade beat-em-ups, and no one did it like Rare. No one has ever done it as who is it? Platinum. They make a lot of different variations of great action games, but they're still action games. They haven't tried to go and do first person shooter or the like, and it's very hard for experimentation to succeed, and I gotta applaud Rare for that, playing over these games.
Oh yeah, I love Rare. Like they're when they were with Nintendo, they were on top. I loved all the games they put out. They're definitely one of the most diverse developers that I'm just really I'm not even surprised, because they do such a good job, and they have such a diverse palette of games that they manage to still be around today. A lot of companies like Midway closing down, and a lot of other, like Neversoft closing down too. Like a lot of these older development teams that we're familiar with from back in the 90s just close. It seems like they're all but non-existent.
It's like, okay, for Midway, I can understand Midway, because they tried to make a new game engine for every single game that they made, instead of just like reusing another one. That's
true. And but yeah, Rare is a great developer. They ain't no Dice. Dice wishes they could be Rare.
Oh, I assume there's just like an EA exec like walks into the room. It's like, hey, get back to work, and like snaps a whip, and then just like walks back out into the hallway, and then like the one Dice employee just like opens up his drawer and has like a little medallion that says Rare, and he's like lovingly strokes it. He goes, "One day, I shall live up to your greatness, but first I must make another Battlefield game."
Who knows? They may prefer working for Konami than making another Battlefield game.
Whoa! EA at least pays. At least pays its employees, and doesn't like they switch them out for janitorial staff when Konami employees like spoke up against the company or did interviews of like Konami breaking down. Like there was some seedy shit going on over at Konami.
It's this disturbingly crazy what's going on over there. I gotta investigate further, because I have a Konami building here in Vegas that I drive by every day. I gotta get up to the Konami headquarters and see what the hell's going on over here. It's like, we don't know what you're talking about. We only make slot machines here. Get out of here.
Pachink. I know you got more than pachinkas going on here.
Oh yeah, that's probably what they're probably what they're doing here. That's all that is. These since I'm in Vegas, they probably got a bunch of these slot machines in that building you drive by every day. No lie, I drive by. There's a Konami building, not like 5 minutes away from my house.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I always shake my fist like, damn you, Konami, make a good Castlevania game again.
They did. It's Bloodstained.
Bloodstained.
Yeah, the kicks. once again, I love Kickstarter because at least it provides these developers an avenue of really tapping into what they love. And of course, there's been some abuse of it, like Red Ash, some of the other Double Fine's adventure game where they kind of messed around with some of the funding. And just there's been some abuse, but what I love is that this is far more direct. And of course, the damn Shenmue 3 Kickstarter. I want to punch him on the front. I'll be calm now. I'll be calm.
Serenity now.
Serenity now.
Hoochie mama.
So. Oh, we need $10 million to get the real game. You know what? The game has been funded. Why isn't Sony backing you up? Like $5 million is chump change to them. Come on.
I'm just waiting for Barkley 2 to blow me out of the waters. Just to be that Kickstarter.
This game is canon.
That game is canon.
I cannot wait for that game to come out. Just playing Charles Barkley Shop and Jam, just so original, so innovative, so great. Especially with Walter Brimley as the diabetes wizard. So good.
And a bunch of little Easter eggs. You don't even know. You can definitely
Joanna
miss
Man is the love interest.
Man, Ghost Dad.
Oh my god.
Which, after knowing a lot more about Bill Cosby, makes his boss a lot more scarier.
Yeah, a lot more satisfying to defeat.
That's true. Yeah, it was really interesting to hear that they decently priced the rare collection and that you've gone back to the realm of those classic rare games and having a good old time with that. I'm glad to hear it. I'm definitely going to be hopefully getting back into a couple of games. I've been really interested in playing Rocket League. I've heard a lot of good things about it.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely want to check that out. Rocket League, and probably just catch up on finishing up some of the games I have for my 3DS, which has been kind of gathering dust for a little bit. I want to finish up some of the Phoenix Wright games I have for it, since I already bought them, so I might as well play them. And just as a placeholder to pretty much Metal Gear Solid Phantom Pain, which I'm looking forward to very much to see how that game is, and very interested into seeing what the story's like. Just the trailers alone just get me so much hype to play and experience the story, to see what kind of direction
last time
Kojima will be taking. Yeah,
that Fox
Kojima,
engine, man.
It looks fantastic. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It captures Kiefer Sutherland's the small acting bits that make him just the best Snake.
Well, what about me?
We're just like, Colonel, Metal Gear, and Kiefer Sutherland's like, listen, I don't have time for this shit. I'm gonna go get this son of a bitch. I don't know why he has a Western accent now.
I like it though.
Snake's
been everywhere.
No explanation, just randomly as a southern drawl. Like, I ought to come get your damn anime caricatures out of here before I kick your ass.
We can stick a blunderbuss and won't get you out down the street, up your butt.
I would like him to be Boomhauer from King of the Hills, like, man, dang old Metal Gears, and walking to a nuclear proliferation, man. It's like, damn it, what are you gonna do, man? It's like United States of America.
DLC.
I'm still waiting for that. I'm still waiting for the Corgi is the new Diamond Dog, a DLC in there.
Ooh. I'd pay. I'd buy that for $1.
Yeah, I'd buy that for $1. Yeah, I did see the new also the new RoboCop a couple of months back.
How was it? I never got to see it.
I liked it. I actually really liked it. It was surprisingly better story than I thought it was going to be. Good action, and it's good.
That's cool. I never, honestly, I just didn't really feel the need to see it. I mean,
Yeah.
I always loved the original. I feel like it could never really surpass that. I just love the excessive excessive gore that was in that movie, and for the movie in what the late early '80s or one of
Oh,
the, it
Paul
was just so
Verhoeven at his
good.
best.
That's what I loved the most about it. Just Paul Verhoeven going all out, not giving
The
a coot,
satire.
just good stuff.
That I want a fast car with terrible mileage.
Some of it's still true today.
Hmm. And I gotta say the new film isn't as obvious with the satire, but Samuel Jackson does a good Glenn Beck impression, and it's actually don't let the PG-13 rating fool you. It's actually really good, and some of it's actually pretty intense, especially when they reveal his what happened to him physically. It's like, ew, gross. But yeah, good movie, much better than I thought. Kind of, RoboCop going alongside Dread. Surprisingly good remix.
Well, Dredd didn't have a whole lot of a worry to live up to what we got originally, which is which is Sylvester Stallone version, where he had his mask helmet off the whole movie.
Yeah, it's well, they who is who played the clone brother?
Oh shit,
I am.
and Rob Schneider being jammed in there.
Don't remind me of Rob Schneider.
He's had a illustrious career, man. He's been in action movies with Sylvester Stallone. He's had his own.
That's the highlight.
That's about it. He's had his.
Armand Asante.
That's a cool name.
He is first on any alphabetical list and first in my heart.
And
but that Judge Dredd movie, not that good. The new Dredd movie, holy crap, that was awesome.
I really hope to make another one.
Yeah, me too. I hope against hope. I know, Carl Urban and the director are just like, yeah, it's probably not going to happen. I just really want some studio to pick up the movie rights and be like, yeah, we're going to make this movie right now.
Diane Lane.
Diane Lane is one of the other judges back in Judge Dredd. Yeah, Lena Headley, not Headley, Headley Lamar. Lena Headey in Dredd is Mama. That she was a really, really good villain in that one.
Yeah, very, very good.
So understated.
Just looking through the cast list, but I will look at this at another time just to see.
Just seeing Rob Schneider's smiling, magnificent face. There's really nothing he could possibly do that he hasn't already sunk to already those bad levels. Like he was in The Hot Chick or whatever, where it's like, okay, one where he like switches bodies with an animal, and then another one where he switches bodies with a woman. And it's like that there's and both of them were terrible. It's just like this guy obviously doesn't really have a whole lot of range going on.
Rob Schneider is Rob Schneider.
Or the one who's like, you saw him trade bodies with an animal and a woman. Now I see him trade bodies with a carrot. But yes, Rob Schneider's terrible. Oh yes, and Deuce Bigelow, the Deuce Bigelow movies.
I like Deuce Bigelow. That's just me.
Gary
Busey was the highlight in it.
You're the guy. You're the one who's been enjoying that movie, who kept it on the Blockbuster shelves.
Hey, I'd take it over any of the Adam Sandler movies. So Rob Schneider is king compared
to
Adam Sandler.
No argument here. And Adam Sandler's next film is supposed to be a Western, and and apparently the script for the Native Americans was so offensive they all walked off all of them walked off all of them walked off the set, and so they're getting in white people to be Native Americans, and so they're literally going red face for this movie, which is like a whole new level of what the fuck are you doing, Adam Sandler? It's just like, okay, you make terrible films, then you insult our intelligence, then you insult the critics and everyone who challenges you, and now you are literally bringing back racism that was outdated for the 70s. What the hell?
The Declaration of War.
Adam Sandler must be stopped for the good of mankind.
Oy. Well.
Oy.
Oy.
Yeah, but anyway, I think I'm ready to head on out tonight. But I want to say thank you so much, man. It's been a while, and it's good to get back into the swing of doing a podcast.
I feel you. I think Adam Sandler brought this whole podcast down. That we just have to. Got to end this on this note, but no, I appreciate you making you make it out of here tonight, CH. Glad to be back and doing this again, getting back into the swing of things. Fortunately we don't have any questions for this week, which is not too bad. I'm just happy to get back into the swing of things. I will definitely be continuing. Resuming work on the Blade Thumbs website and kind of seeing where the progress goes on that, and I'll keep you guys all informed. Other than that, you can follow us on Twitter at Splinter47 and at ch_Gorog, and also all our episodes go up on my YouTube channel, iTunes, Mixler for sure when we go on live, and the BGB.com. Our friends over there, check them out. Check out their podcast, Get Coins to Die Trying. Good podcast. Listen to it all the time, and gotta catch them all. That was just random. Gotta catch them all.
Gotta catch all of them Rob Schneider films before they're found and burned.
I was thinking about playing the last new Pokemon games, the XY or Z or whatever, and I was and then I thought about it, I was like, I can't get into this anymore because I just Pokemon is like a whole other realm of just dedication gaming. Like, this is why I can't play The Sims, because just I'll spend hours just tinkering with everything. I'll be like non-existent.
You'll be ADD going over like, okay, now if I use this potion but use this Pokeball, I'll be able to get a 0.3% increase on chance of capturing it. But not if I play it on a Tuesday morning after I've had breakfast, where it's just like, I can't do it because it's all that information, as well as the fact there's like new styles, there's like mega evolutions. There's
I can't do
it. Absolutely, I'm like 6 generations behind.
And there's too much Pokemon. I remember when it was 150, now it's like 700. I can't do it. There's too much Pokemon.
There are literally more animals in these games than there are in real life.
This is why Ash Ketchum is still on the Pokemon show, because he still has so much Pokemon to catch, because they keep making more.
Dude, he absolutely sucks as a trainer. He's got like 25 Pokemon like total, including the evolutions.
He's caught some good ass Pokemon that he's let go, like Charizard. I can go all day. It's terrible.
The only one that was sad is like, okay, I like the fact that he said his Butterfree free so that he can finally get some Nookie and start his own family. But it's just like, dude, you are obviously not going to ever be the best that ever was, because you've like been to every single region, you gotten all the gym badges, and you have basically no Pokemon to show for it.
Catch them. Well, but I still have nostalgia for it. No, but
of course, yeah. It's like that was our, Dragon Ball came around at the same time, so it's just like that and Dragon Ball Z, where it took 300 episodes to get to the next plot point.
Dragon Ball's another thing that I've been wanting to get into, but then I thought about it, it's like, no, too much time investment, too much 10 episodes, set pieces, setting up one fight scene that'll last 50 minutes. I can't do this anymore. Like Pokemon, I remember the great satisfaction of playing Pokemon. I remember catching like the Snorlax, which was like a big deal for me, and then my game saves being deleted and then losing all my awesome Pokemon that I spent so much time investments, over 100 hours as a young kid playing Pokemon, and I just can't do it anymore. I can't do it. It's too much.
It's like, listen, there's only 24 hours in the day. I can't divvy it up, trying to find, going in one small patch of grass trying to find an Abra who will only teleport away as soon as I try to throw a Pokeball at it.
Oh my
I can't
God.
do it anymore.
I remember that. I remember doing that. I wanted to catch an Abracadabra.
Abracadabra, Alakazam,
Alakazoo, whatever. And then the ghost Pokemon, and then the legendary Pokemon that always run away from battle. I have to put them to sleep so I can try to get them, and even then, it take like 20 Ultra Balls to catch.
And let's not even start with Magikarp, which is like the only way that you can level him up to actually be worth a damn in Gyarados is to like put him as your number one slot in whenever you're fighting, so he has like just enough experience from like looking at another Pokemon to help him, and then like switch him out.
That's what I always did. I started him out first, had him splash, and then switched, and then had the other Pokemon take care of the rest, and just like you said, like that little experience gets you. I never even bothered because him and Psyduck were like worthless to me. I can't. Psyduck always getting confused.
Okay, so it's like if you capture a random Metapod, the only thing you can do is harden. It's like he has no defenses, and God help you if you're trying to evolve him.
Yeah, it didn't want too much of a formula to put together to figure that out. Too advanced for me. But yeah, it was nice. Ending this podcast on reminiscing of Pokemon.
Yes.
I mean, to be fair, they were fun games. They were fun games back in the day. I had nothing against them. I had a wonderful time. That's when I had all the time in the world. But not now. I can't do it again. I can't do it.
We got jobs now, so sadly we don't have all the time in the world for video games.
But I appreciate it. Yeah.
And speaking of not having all the time in the world, as much as we'd like to, time to probably, for me and this episode, it's midnight over here, and so I'd like to check on out for tonight.
I gotcha. So thank you all for listening. This has been 165. The Boy Comes podcast, and CH will be going comatose.
Yes.
He'll be hibernating right now.
Let me get some of this 100 proof whiskey, and then I'll definitely be comatose.
All right. Keep it locked, folks. We'll catch you on the next one. See you later.
You've got to catch them all. Got to catch all them Rob Schneiders.
Catch all the Rob Schneider direct-to-DVD movies.
Oh yeah, with Steven Seagal.
Especially the one when he was in prison and he learned to defend himself with Kung Fu by David Carradine. That's real though. I'm not making it up.
Did he then choke himself after he did that? Just like, if you excuse me, I need to go over this hanging door.
That was in the that ended up being in Shawshank Redemption.
Oh man, some movies deserve to be seen by all.
Bill was here.
Well, anywho, I'm heading on off. We'll see you guys later, and it's good to be back.
All right, take it easy, everybody.